I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Hey, about defunding the police. What do you think about that? All right, all right. Welcome back, guys. Another little episode or segment here of diving into yesterday, trying to see how it relates to today. Um, Hope you guys are enjoying these. If you are, please like, share, comment down below. Let me know how I can improve, what you thought, um, anything that I missed. Always trying to learn, and I hope you are as well. Um, if it's first time here, please hit that sub button. I hope you enjoy. We'll get right into it. Uh, February 10th, 1855, U.S. citizenship laws amended. All children of the U.S., parents born abroad granted U.S. citizenship. Congress passed the Citizen Act in 1855. Through this act, a child born outside the U.S. Is a U.S. citizen if the child's father is a U.S. citizen. So basically, if you're born in the U.S. but your parents aren't, then you are a citizen. Um, the It also provides that an alien immigrant woman can gain citizenship through marriage to an American citizen or the naturalization of their alien husband. So also allowing marriage. I was reading up a little bit on this, and it did state that if you were a slave, you didn't gain citizenship, which is a little sad. Um, Before its time, I guess, right? But did not naturalize slavery. But looking into how that compares today, obviously, it'd be immigration. But, I didn't want to really go with the U.S. immigration. We talked about that. What's going on there? Joe Biden, free for all. Not really, but that's what people coming up believe. Jen Psaki was actually questioning on this today or yesterday, and she's beating around the bush. So it's not good. But I wanted to dive into Canada. Canada's huge and remarkable immigration offer to Hong Kongers is partly political, partly pragmatic. The open work permit scheme for recent graduates represents one of the most generous and unfettered Canadian immigration programs in memory, experts say. Canada vows national security conventions will not impede applicants as international contest for Hong Kong talent emerges, framed in humanitarian terms. So Canada stood shoulder to shoulder with the people of Hong Kong. The new scheme showed Ottawa's solidarity with other like-minded allies. Um, the immigration experts on both sides of the Pacific said they were greatly surprised by Canada's scheme scope, calling it huge and remarkable. Um, It'll go until 2023 for Hong Kongers that are graduated with post-secondary degree of diploma that is equivalent to Canadian qualifications in the past 5 years. It also stated, it says read full article. Okay. Unlike most work-based schemes, the 3-year permits do not require applicants to have Canadian employment lined up. No age limits, no financial restrictions, and no language tests. So it's an open door for any Hong Konger to come to the States, and that's even including national security law would be no impediment to applicants. So as far as if they have convictions, it's not a lot, not preventing that either. They say it's not the same, but it's almost like letting in 10,000 Syrians, which I believe they had also done. Uh, it's pretty remarkable. Hong Kongers are going through some stuff right now with being overturned to China in the recent years, with them putting their thumb more and more down on the people of Hong Kong. The protests have stopped, education camps have started. Um, very scary, to say the least. Um, Next one we'll get into here. Yesterday, 1868, conservatives and military seize Convention Hall in Florida. By June 25th, 1968, restoration of the Union, after meeting with the requirements of Reconstruction, including ratifying amendments to the U.S. Constitution to abolish slavery and grant citizenship to former slaves. Florida's representatives were readmitted to Congress. The state was fully restored to the United States. And then it also shows on May 20th, General McCook read Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation during a ceremony in Tallahassee, Florida, officially ending slavery in Florida. Lang leading the Ford Brigade when it surrendered, basically ending the war for 89,000 soldiers in North Carolina, April 26, 1865. And then in May, Edward M. McCook's Union Division was assigned to reestablish federal control and authority in Florida. By February, they had seized the Convention Hall, and by June, fully restored. To compare that today, obviously, with the impeachment trial based off of the Capitol insurrection, I just pulled up the impeachment trial here, and it doesn't seem like it's going very well for the Democrats and what they hope to do. 15 GOP senators give Dems parting insult at Trump impeachment trial. Didn't even show up. Baseless tirades against Donald Trump, they didn't show up at all.
Manu Raju was in the Senate chamber just a few moments ago. He counted up to 15 empty seats on the Republican side of the chamber, and that is how senators sit. Democrats on one side, Republicans on the other side. And they can be watching this from other.
So saying they could, but it's probably not likely. Lindsey Graham and Rand Paul were absent without leave, while Senator Jim Risch was in the basement on his phone. Just popped into the chamber my time where I saw 15 seats empty, and then it also goes on to hear Grassley Cotton reading things. He was just reading, they were just reading random stuff, not even doing anything. Sanders appears to be falling asleep. Scott inspecting a map of Asia, writing on it like he was filling in the names of the countries. Like, jeez. They're not even paying attention, man. I heard another guy was like drawing pictures or something like that. Like, I thought it was pretty funny there, though. Remarkable to see the show, the soap opera that we're in. But we'll move here to 1897. Yesterday in 1897, the New York Times begins using slogan all the news that fits to print. In 1897, Adolph S. Och, the owner of the New York Times, created the famous slogan all the news that fits to print, which still appears on the masthead of the newspaper today. He wrote the slogan as a declaration of the newspaper's intention to report the news impartially. So, regardless, you're just reporting. You don't pick a side, right? Pretty amazing. When I wasn't able to go to it specifically, their thing directly, but I was able to pull up their Twitter. Impeachment managers stressed Donald Trump's lack of remorse as they wrapped up their arguments. Here are the four takeaways from day 3 of the trial. The influential evangelist Rich, who was died last spring, engaged in sexting, unwanted touching, spiritual abuse, and rape, according to a report released on Thursday by the global evangelical organization he founded. Let's see here. A little more than a month after the Capitol siege, a fuller picture of the injuries suffered by the police has emerged, showing how January 6th resulted in one of the worst days of injuries to law enforcement in the U.S. since 9/11 terrorist attacks. Wow. Um, Comparing it to 9/11, wow. And then they also have all this stuff on Britney Spears and where her money's going. I mean, that's really important. Free Britney. Just leave Britney alone. The New York Times, man. Also, that happened yesterday, 1923. Ink paste was made and manufactured for the first time by Standard Ink Company. That's Sanford's right there. It wasn't for whatever reason pulling up the Standard Ink Company one that I was looking for, but people are able to do it on their own. They don't need the New York Times, and we get beautiful things like the New York Post, and their news on Biden and his secret. Yeah. Spurred wife suit. Biden's secret emails. You might have heard, unless you've been trying to avoid the news over the past 2 weeks, which understand about the New York Post exclusive story about Hunter Biden's laptop. Yeah, point there. And then we also bring it into today. Actually, this was back in 2021, but even Australia was kind of a little pissed off about it. Sneakily and cunningly evade any problems with his son Hunter Biden by pulling up sympathy and addict cards. He's coming out with a book April of this year. So it should be, oh no, that is today. I'm sorry. Or 2 days ago. But basically, so we had Joe Biden on Super Bowl Sunday in the pregame show with the CBS giving a teary interview telling everybody how proud he was of his son. My boy's back. This is obviously opinion piece from them, but it's coming out of Australia, which is pretty interesting. Even the world is like, what the hell? What's going on here, guys? The next thing that I'm going to bring up here is the anti-Nazi Het Parool begins publishing in the Netherlands in 1941 yesterday. It was an Amsterdam-based daily newspaper, first published on February 10th, yesterday, 1941, as a resistance paper during the German occupation of the Netherlands. In English, its name means the password or the motto. Now, the reason I bring this history in, it's interesting to say that there was a newspaper actually standing against it back then. I didn't know that. But then also to go into today, hashtag cancel Disney Plus trends after Lucasfilm boots Gina Carano over abhorrent social media posts. One including where there's a comparison to Nazism. Now, I know that it's not the best to compare to that, but her comparison was not, in my opinion, that horrible. But we got a lot of people freaking out on this one, and rightly so. If she was speaking out against it, we had newspapers of the time actually creating stuff, speaking out against it, and what's the difference between a pop star now reporting what she thinks, in an opinion piece possibly, but going against Nazism. Uh, yeah, I don't understand what the harm in that is. Making a comparison to what somebody is doing and saying that it's the same, you could be degrading it, but either way, you're talking that it's bad. So, but comparing everybody to it might lighten it up. So I could see as well. But regardless, it was a bunch of other tweets as well. Like she had changed her gender pronouns to beep bop boop, um, which I thought was pretty hilarious. Gina Carano had her own Disney Plus Star Wars spinoff showing the works before getting fired from Lucasfilm yesterday over her abhorrent social post. Wow, she had a spinoff. I didn't know that. It says Jews were beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers but by their neighbors, even by children. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, the government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jews. How is it any different from hating someone for their political views? And from my knowledge, they also did do it for political views, and were grouped together based off of political views and then also race. So, I mean, she's not wrong, and she's speaking out against it. So, I don't see why that's so bad. And you got Katrina Hayden, I'm not sure who that is. Gina Carano's post made the point that mass violence starts with hatred for your neighbor. It's not only uncontroversially true, but also one perspective of the commandment to love thy neighbor. That idea is not a call to empty niceness, it's how to prevent suffering. Well put. Pretty amazing, to say the least. Um, this is what we've come to, that you can't even speak out against fighting with your neighbor, and how the Nazis also did that as well. Pretty insane. I don't get it. Number 3 is trending because Gina Carrera compared something to the Nazis. Number 4 is trending because people are comparing Josh Hawley to the Nazis. Oh my god. Kid Hitler, fire Gina Carano. That's what it first popped out, I'm guessing. It's just ridiculous. Gina Carano put in boop, bop, beep in her name after Twitter mob was angry she wouldn't put her pronouns in her bio. Will always be legendary. Super legendary. I hope she comes out on the better for this. She didn't do it. I don't think she did anything wrong. What do you guys think? Was she in the wrong for at least comparing something? Well, I mean, Nazis did that, so she's not even making. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. The last one we'll get into here is the 25th Amendment. It was ratified in 1967, yesterday, February 10th. Before this, it's kind of a long story. Basically, the oversight became apparent in 1841 when the newly elected President William Henry Harrison died about a month after becoming president. Vice President John Tyler, in a bold move, settled the political debate about succession, and there was a question in Congress about powers Tyler had, what he should be called, acting president, president, or vice president. Tyler settled the debate by asking Chief Judge of the District of Columbia circulate the administration the presidential oath, and he fought all attempts by his political foes to treat him as anything but the legitimate president of the United States. In the following years, presidential successions happened after the deaths of 6 presidents, and there were 2 cases where the offices of president and vice president almost became vacant at the same time. The Tyler president stood fast in these transition periods. Furthermore, there was no constitutional way to replace the vice president who had vacated office or to handle a situation where a president became incapacitated while in office. By 1963, Congress was debating an attempt to amend the Constitution to clear up all succession matters or add up a procedure for dealing with a leader who became unable to perform office's duty temporarily or permanently. This became a bigger issue with the realities of the Cold War and President Dwight Eisenhower's illness in the 1950s. Basically, with Kennedy's unexpected death, the need for a clear way to determine presidential succession, especially with new ratified the Cold War and frightening technologies, forced Congress into action. So eventually, within 3 months, the House and Senate agreed on the wording of what would become the 25th Amendment, and in July 1965, Nebraska became the first state to ratify the proposed amendment. Minnesota was the 37th state, and Nevada was in the 38th state to ratify the amendment, both on February 10th, 1967, making it the law of the land. To bring that into today and kind of round everything off, we'll bring it a couple months back here. Got Donald Trump. Be careful what you wish for, Joe. And surprisingly, it's CNN who has it. But
free speech is under assault like never before. The 25th Amendment is of zero risk to me, but will come back to haunt Joe Biden and the Biden administration. As the expression goes, be careful what you wish for.
So that appeared to be a veiled threat, saying that the 25th Amendment could be used against Joe Biden when the questions are about whether or not it'd be used against the president. And Jake, of course.
So what do you guys think? Let's see what she says.
Right now, we've reported that seems incredibly unlikely, but there is a very real threat to the president's power. That's impeachment, and whether or not he's going to be the second president ever to be impeached, something that could happen as soon as tomorrow.
Oh my God. That could be a real question, yeah. And his age, I mean, what is this? Secret cameo while rewatching film. Yeah, pretty amazing. That came out of CNN, that they're reporting on it. But Joe Biden is what, 76? Let me see, just to make sure. 78. Wow, yeah. Born in 1942. Donald Trump, he'll be 78 if he does run in 2024. So if I'm worried about Joe Biden at that point. Where will Donald Trump be? And will it need to be? Will the torch need to be passed? Do you think Joe Biden 4 years ago during the Obama administration was as spry as Donald Trump was during his administration? Is basically the question, because that would be the same ages. And I don't believe so. I don't think Donald Trump will be. I mean, the term is Sleepy Joe, right? I mean, that's not a good term for a president. And if people call him that still, and I've heard it, and people still think that he's not all there. He's going to be doing, I guess, some sort of speech tomorrow, I believe, at a hospital. So it'll be interesting to see what he says. I'm always curious to see what he's going to say. I mean, he's going to a hospital. We're going to hear about true and honest Shabbat pressure. Let me know what you guys think. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button again. Comment down below, share, and if it's your first time here, hit that subscribe button. But I'm gonna do some videos later on tonight, just some clips and stuff. I'll have another one posted, and then tomorrow, update, another history, and I might go live. I haven't decided yet, but I'll keep you updated, and I hope you all have a good night. If I don't see you, there's always a good day tomorrow. Peace.